Hello, everyone. Welcome to Professional Weirdness. I'm Kelsey, and we're here with Annie, Jody, and Cynthia today. Hi, ladies. How y'all doing?
Hey, Kelsey.
Hey. Hello. Good to see you. All right. Today we have a very special guest. We're super excited. We saw his video on YouTube about egregores, and it totally aligned with things that we had been working on and thinking, and we just had to have him on. His name is Jaden Fox. He's a spiritual guide, spiritual advisor, and he has discovered these amazing things about egregores, stuff you won't hear anywhere else, and how to deal with them in your life, because we're all impacted, or we know somebody who's impacted. So this information couldn't have come at a better time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Jaden Fox to the stream.
Yay! Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Jaden.
Hi. How are you?
I'm very good. Very
Good
good.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Good. All right. So I guess our first question is, how did you become to be, and I use this term affectionately, how did you become a professional weirdo and get weird and learn all this stuff? How did that arise for you?
Yeah, it's been the history of my life, actually. I've just noticed I've always had this pattern of trying to make sense of life and understand how it works, what's going on behind the scenes, what makes things tick, if you will, from people to organizations, societies, life as it exists, period. Always asked big, weird questions, and I would consider myself a professional weirdo, completely. I own that. And it just kept evolving and going deeper. And the more tools that I learned, the more I learned how to ask questions of the authentic universe and get information from that, to how to tap into creation, how things work here. Life not only got simpler, but more weird. And the further down the rabbit hole I go, it just gets more weird, but it's this crazy, cool kind of weird in most cases that I just eat it up. I love it. So I was born that way.
Awesome. And like I stated earlier, we first were introduced to you because of your show on egregores, and we thought it was so cool. And Annie had also been working on reading a book about them that kind of aligns with your information. And so how did you come upon that knowledge? What kind of sparked that knowledge? And then second part to that question, we'll get to the second part later when I remember. How about that? How did you first discover that egregores were a problem? And then how long did it take you to discover what to do about them? And also, I remember the second part. Why now? Why do you think people are open to this information now? Because, I understand you're getting a lot of attention and you're getting busier and people are into it. Why do you think this place is ready to hear that finally after all these thousands of or more of years of egregores? So let's start from the beginning. How did you discover that this was a problem?
So I had started working with people. I have one of my gifts and abilities is to assist people in accelerating their awareness path and like moving more quickly, getting beyond the bullshit, getting in alignment with the truth of who they are, who they came here to be, who they were born to be, if you will. And as I started work with that, as soon as you start touching into people's authentic direction, agenda, purpose, the weirdness hits the fan really quick. And so I tended to be like the gifts, capacity, and magics guy. And really soon I learned that as soon as you start to tap into that world, all these weird ass energies come out of the woodwork and they start to clobber you. And they clearly do not want you to become aware, and definitely don't want you to step into your purpose or what you're here to do. And even to the extent of people who are trying to live a quiet life and are not trying to get out there, they're still being clobbered. And one of the things that I just generically started calling it interference,
Mhm.
because it's the essence of who they are. They're just here to interfere. Another word would be exploiters. You'll hear me use exploiters because it's the nature of what they're doing. They're attempting to use you in any way they can use you. Um, and most people are clueless of these energies. They're happily living their life or unhappily living their life. And they think that they're the problem, and they think that they're screwing up and that they're wrong and they're bad and nothing they do is right. And no matter what they do, they keep messing things up. And I'm here to say, what if that's not you that's screwing things up, making things wrong? What if that's these these other energies in your world that are invisible, that I call interference, that are literally there to stop you? And people are often insulted by it. Like, well, why would they choose me? Why would they harass me? And the answer to that question, both alarmingly and unhelpfully, is because you have the capacity for awareness and for change. And when these energies perceive that you have the capacity, whether you're living it or not, they don't care. Their objective is to stop you and prevent you from stepping into who you came here to be. And so here I am trying to help people to step into who they came here to be. And here's these energies that are trying to stop me and trying to stop my clients. And I'm like, oh, what is this? What do I do with this? And it started out with looking at entities, and then demonics, and then creatures and alien energies. And then I resisted looking at angels for the longest time. I worked with angels like everybody else did, I think. Um, and uh, the more you work with these energies, the more you recognize they're not who they appear to be. They'll show up as, I had this experience where um, I had a I won't get into the whole backstory of it, but I had this experience where I had this God showed up to talk to me. And so I'm here all by myself, and all of a sudden I'm starting to perceive this energy push into my space. And it shows up as this um, fatherly God. And I'm like, oh, what the hell is that? So there's rejection, and it right away morphs into this different shape. And I was rejecting that one, and it morphs into this um, Jesus shape, and all of a sudden I accepted the space, and it stayed in that form. And I'm like, wait a minute, that energy is messing with me to see what form I'll accept. Like, that's the level that they're playing at. They don't care what their goal is, to manipulate you to get their ends met. And their ends are to prevent you from expressing and becoming who you came here to be. They don't want you to be powerful and strong and clear and aware and capable and creative. They want to shut you down and squash you, because if too many people become aware, their game is done. And so I start digging through all these and cataloging all the different kinds of interference and the different layers and the different patterns, because there's nothing better, nothing else I could do with it. Over time, I learned how to banish these energies, but it was the equivalent of like, you've got an ant or a couple of ants walk into your kitchen and walk around on your counter, and okay, you squish them, you've just banished them, but there's a whole nest full of them somewhere, and the queen keeps cranking out more, and they're going to send more. And so while I learned how to banish the individual entities or energies that would come to try to muck around in my life and teach clients how to do that, um, it wasn't the solution, because I couldn't grab the queen. I couldn't grab the head of that. And when you start perceiving the the domain and the hierarchies of interference, it is extraordinarily complex and tangled and sophisticated. It looks very much like it does here on the planet. You look at religions and the intertanglement and how they have all these hierarchical things. You've got to move your way up this chain and up that chain and up this chain and up that chain, and your chance of becoming a pope or like is never going to happen, right? Like so there's all these different things, but how do you grab the higher ups, and how do you perceive it, and how to even do all that stuff? So I was constantly searching for what else is possible, how else can I grab these energies that are just abusive and they're just here to literally interfere. And I couldn't quite comprehend what was going on until I bumped into a little video with a guy talking about egregores, and he's talking about sorcery and how you create how you can create like non-physical assistance to do your bidding, how you can create these energies, and how cultures and societies naturally you get multiple people together and they have a focus, and that that focused thought creates this entity, this creates this energy that actually becomes independent of the beings who create it, but it's in service to, and it's based on what you program it. And that he called these egregores, which is a really old word from ancient Greek, or depending on how far back you dig, everybody has different ways of different roots of that word. But when I landed in the egregore word and I started to recognize these are thought forms that humans have created eons ago, we just keep perpetuating. And so the way to think about it is, you get multiple people together with a focus, a purpose, a mission, and they focus on a shared belief system, and they say this is our reality, this is how our reality is going to work. And you create this being, this energy that I'm going to call an egregore thought form, that takes on those rules and lives that. So my favorite example is Santa Claus is an egregore, Easter Bunny, all those interesting things. Like, does Santa Claus exist? Absolutely, but not in the physical presence at the North Pole or what have you, right? But it certainly exists, and people are praying to it or giving energy to it, especially around Christmas time, especially the kids. But here we have this energy that everybody thinks is okay to lie to your kids about for some twisted reason I never completely understood, but whatever, that's their dance. Um, so if you think about that, is everybody has this shared viewpoint of what this being is, what it's supposed to do. Once a year, it has the right to invade your home, come down your chimney, or however it wants to get into your house. But it delivers usually good stuff, except for it brings coal sometimes, right? So it's got these rules about how it exists. And those rules define how that egregore behaves. When you start to explore religions, things get a little bit more twisted. So you start to look at, okay, so they create this religion that says, well, everybody should believe in this God, everybody should believe in this religion, and if you don't, you're going to die, and you're going to burn in hell forever, ever, 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 ever. And it's like, okay, so here we're programming this egregore to be a God. I'm going to call it a God, to be all knowing, all powerful, all capable, sees all, knows all, and has below it, um, like that people don't see it this way often, but like you look at demons and angels, and in the illusion of it with gods, with these egregores, the the angels are the good side and the demons oppose God. But it's not. That's not the truth. It's more like good cop, bad cop. They're actually all on the same team. The angels are under the demons. So if a god wants to get you to conform or mess with you, it'll send an angel if it thinks that that's going to be effective. And the angel buddies up with you and goes, "Oh, you're so sweet. I want to help you," and blah, blah, blah. And then it screws with you and it installs things and it brings demons in. Angels are actually, to me, when you could take any angel you want, I don't care which one you pick, grab the angel and just gently move it around left and right and up and down, and look way down below energetically. And you'll notice as you're moving that up and down, there's another darker energy down below that moves left and right, up and down. The same as that angel. Angels and demons are literally the same being. They've been they've been polarized and separated. And so it's like there's the deeper down the rabbit hole I started to go with this, it's like, wow. I eventually hit the space where when you can see all of these pieces together, so here you've got gods who are programmed basically saying, these people are going to die anyway, so we can do anything in our power to manipulate, control, threaten them to do what we want them to do, to conform to our religion. And because we're the right religion, and because we are in control of everything here, this is our world, we can do anything we want. So you've got these egregores, these gods who've been programmed with infinite power and basically the ability to do whatever the fuck they want to run over humanity. And that's, as I understood the bigger picture of egregores, that actually kind of landed in place. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's what we're dealing with here. These are thought forms that humans have created over eons of time and keep pumping energy into it. Every day, certain religions are praying multiple times a day to pack energy into these thought forms to manipulate a larger and larger group of people to have it's like dominance on the planet. And these keep getting stronger and stronger. Although the ones that have been around the longest, the Hindu egregores, are by far the darkest and most evil. The ones that when you get something that just feels evil and nasty to the core, they're typically Hindu. Whether you've had any connection with the Hindu religion or not, sort of controls it. You don't have to buy into religion to get it. You just have to be alive on the planet. And if that energy feels threatened by you, they'll they'll come after you. It doesn't matter whether you've been a Hindu or a Christian or whatever. You're alive on this planet. They're programmed to save people by these means, and they're given what you do whatever you want to make that happen. And we'll keep feeding you energy every day. We'll just keep feeding you energy. So why now? Um, for m- for me, it just it's just unfolding now. To me, the more awareness and consciousness there is on the planet, the more aware people who keep coming onto the planet, the more people who keep walking into bodies with the intention of awareness. Um, it increases the field that of, I don't want to say knowledge, but access that we have. It in the beginning, you can think about decades ago. We all felt alone, isolated, aware. We're the only one on the planet. Nobody else is like this. What happened? What's going on? And the more we move forward, the more people are here, the more we're connecting, the more we're sharing with each other, the more we're like, wow, I'm not alone. There's a lot of other weirdos out there too. Yeah. Right. So um I think there's an ever increasing number of people who are becoming aware. When I look at the planet as a whole, it's becoming aware whether they wanted to or not. I love the all the reactions to COVID lockdowns that I think were intended to be limiting, but actually dramatically increased awareness on the planet. So people are like, what am I doing working this job? I'm out of here. So millions of people are quitting working their jobs. Like there's awareness going on here. Things are waking up. Um, so I think why now is it's ripe. It's time. People are eager for awareness, whether they understand that or not.
I think that people that hear this for the first time, this is kind of upsetting.
Oh,
Basically,
deeply.
I mean, and I listened to your video, and we're going to be putting a link to the video, I believe, on here. I listened to it probably 3 or 4 times, and then several since, and I'm just like, are you telling me if this is true, all the things that I have been raised on as a born again Christian and someone who prayed all their lives and doing Reiki and going and working with angels and everything is a lie? That's huge. That's huge. And I think what we're going to need to do is definitely speak to those people on, okay, how can we soften this and what are the solutions? And I think there's also a hierarchy, because if we tell people this and they're not quite ready to hear it yet, they're just going to reject it. They're just going to go,
Absolutely.
no,
Absolutely.
why?
And that's appropriate. That's appropriate.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that people who
So-
are hearing this the first time,
so-
it is tough.
I used to start by being very gentle with people, and I recognize that when I do that, I'm not being in service to those people who are ready to hear it. And I don't mind offending people, though it's never my aim. I don't like offending people, but I'm about clarity. And there's a phrase that I remember hearing it long time ago, and it triggered something really deep for me. And it's everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is or what if everything is the opposite of what it appears to be? The number of illusions that exist on this planet are intense, to the point where I work with people at my higher level programs where it's just about radical awareness. It's not about what, how do I say it? When you're ready for it, you're ready for it. When you're not, you're not. And I'm not making that right or wrong. Like your pace is your pace, and that's perfect. But the number of illusions that you need to cut through in order to actually see what's really going on here are intense. If you look at the world and nothing here makes sense, then you're seeing the illusions of the world. The more I cut through illusions, the more it's like, oh, that's why that weird thing is that and that weird thing is that. Things just start to make sense to me. Things are coherent because I see through the illusions, the surface stories, the Santa Clauses. And the more you cut through all those, you go, there's core, there's essence, there's truth, there's that's really what's going on here. So, and it is uncomfortable. Awareness is not comfortable. The whole process of awareness is not comfortable. I completely agree 100%.
And it's like that saying, I love it. I say it a lot. The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.
Yeah.
And but there are the layers to the layers of truth, but truth itself, it can't be challenged. So if there's something that triggers a person and that they believe to be true, is like that reaction in itself should be a litmus to maybe it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, and I question, one of the weird things about me that I'm very proud of now is I question everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. I've had so many different experiences where I'm looking at a city and I see buildings slowly fade away and slowly fade back again. It's like there's multiple realities going on here. The more you're open to seeing beyond, the weirder this reality gets. There isn't one reality. There isn't one planet happening here. There are multiple planets and multiple realities and multiple dimensions, and it's concurrent and it's in the same space. And you I use the word infinite being to describe me as the source, me, the highest level expression that I am currently aware of and am targeting. Like, as an infinite being, I have the ability to cross dimensions and cross space time and do that effortlessly and without even thinking about it. Like the number of times that we'll just zoom in to another place on the planet and tap in and see how somebody's doing. That's just natural. We don't even think about it. But we're literally sending a part of ourselves to hang out in that person's space, in that person's reality, to see how things are going. Like, you think you're just thinking about somebody, but there's way more going on. And that, to me, is the juicy stuff. When you go beyond the illusions, you start and you open to high weirdness. This reality is not as stable and as solid as it appears to be. And I think a lot of those illusions are here to make everything seem predictable, solid, and consistent in a world that is not that, or doesn't need to be that. And that, to me, is the cool stuff. That's what makes it worth doing all this work and cutting through all the discomfort about. It's like, ooh, that's yucky. What is that? Right?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I wanted to comment on that first thing you talked about with your experience of them, changing different entities, right, to see what you would connect with. It was almost like AI, like programming. Okay, that's not working. We got to send this one. That's what it reminded me of. There's a Black Mirror episode that's called White Christmas that was very similar to that, where they were sending people in to target this guy, or whatever, and they just kept trying to figure out what was going to work with him. And kind of like the Truman Show, right? Kind of. They'd send in, if it didn't work, they'd send in something else. So there's this intelligence behind all that, right? That's trying to figure it out. I think that's very interesting. But I wanted to talk real briefly about the agreement holders that you talked about, and trying to find, the top level, agreement holder. And I thought it was so interesting that you said, if you can find the top one, they all fall right in that line. And it was kind of like the Night King in Game of Thrones. If you kill him, everybody he turned, gets right at the same time. So how did you figure that out, and how do you go about finding the agreement holder and getting rid of it?
Good question. When I tap into, I've just done it so much, it's just natural now. When you tap it, so you have an egregore, let's say that you have some demonic or satanic energy that's messing about in your space. So what I'll do is I'll grab it, I'll freeze it, and I'll put it up on the screen so I can study it. And I've learned to use, and I teach people, a process that I call questioning. So I'm basically connecting to creation through my body, and I'm asking creation and my body questions. And people do it with the finger thing sometimes, or they do it in these other ways. But I use something that I call heavier and light, where I'm constantly assessing all information for what feels light or buoyant and what feels heavy or dense. And when I connect to creation and I ask a question, I can get creation's perspective about things, which doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% true, but it gives me another source of information. So I've learned to ask questions. So I can tap into that being, which just by practice, I've learned how to classify it, and I know how it behaves and what it's going to do, what its patterns are, if you will, its programming. And it's like, okay, so then I'll ask, well, who or what are their parent egregores? And I get sometimes this perception of energies, and I'll grab those and I'll put those in the pile as well. And who are the prime agreement holders, anchoring agreement holders, residual agreement holders, proxy agreement holders? And every one of those words lights up a different category of being that may or may not be associated with this particular energy. And if they do light up, I grab them and I put them in the pile too. And so now I'm working with all of those. And the pile I'm working with, I've created like a vault that,
like a quarantine.
It's a quarantine, one way in. There is actually no way out. It's a one-way vault.
Okay,
once it's in, it can't come out. So I can, during my week, like I'll just be doing my business and something, I can feel something in my space. It's like, okay, in the vault. And then once a week when I have time to do my clearing, or twice a week or whenever, when I get irritated enough, I'm like, all right, we're going to screw these guys. They're out. They're being cleared now. But it's literally just been about asking questions. So I started out with egregore, and I started with just who are their parent egregore, like who created them, who's the queen bee. Okay. And then I had this gnawing feeling that there's something beyond that. So I kept exploring with, okay, I feel this energy beyond that. What is that? How do I grab that? And then it's like, oh, prime agreements. Wow, prime agreements. So prime agreements go way back to prime creators, like the first creators that participated in this reality. And they're no different than you or I, but they have the designation of being the first. That's where some of the corruption slipped in early on in the beginning of this reality. And I won't go into that, but I know to glance there. Okay, are there any energies that go way back? And a lot of these egregores are looking for any power and any strength they can find, and they'll find these threads that go back in time, and they'll use those, or they'll co-opt those energies. And so I've just learned to go back as far back as I know to go back. And then it's like, oh, there's something else there. There's just something else there. And I just keep exploring with, what does that feel like, and what words can I put to it? Oh, those are the anchoring agreements holders. Okay, got it. And I play with it, practice it, work with it with my test group. And if they have success with it, I'm like, okay, let's run. So everything I'm doing, I'm constantly checking, testing, and just constantly exploring and learning and growing and exploring, trying to make sense of this bigger picture. So it's a constantly evolving process. It wasn't, I just woke up one day and had all this stuff. I wish it was like that, but no, it's been evolving.
Cool.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we do something similar called a forced agreement removal, and we kind of bring it. We call it a cosmic recycle bin, basically, and we bring them all in and we show them the contract. And hey, we're not doing this anymore. This is bogus. Screw those losers. So that's very cool. Yeah. So definitely we align with your grokking there.
Cool.
So I had a question submitted by a reader. He wanted to know, can we make, first of all, can some personalities incarnate in bodies on here, can some of them create more powerful egregores than others? Like, is it not just a numbers game? Are some people more powerful creators without knowing it and empowering these more than others, or accidentally creating these interferences, these egregores more than others?
We all create egregores. I want to just be upfront. We all create egregores. I notice, I'm just to say, there's nowhere I don't go. And this is just my little warning. So I noticed, you get two or more people together being sexual, that creates an egregore. And I don't mean a baby. I mean, you just get two or more people who are in this sexual focus together, that creates another entity or another energy that is that experience. Like, it's just natural. You get multiple people together and it co-creates a third energy. It's like you and your partner in a relationship. There's you, your partner, and then there's the we, that relationship. Much of relationship is an egregore, like it, but you've programmed it. It's your relationship. Are there people who can create more powerful ones? I don't think in the way that you're saying it. I would say no. The variation of strength would be fairly insignificant. The more you know, the more clear you are, the more practiced you are, you can create deliberately egregores. But in order for egregores to continue to exist and to reach these strong proportions, it requires millions of people to do it, or an increasing number of people. Part of the game here with religions is a numbers game. They want more heads nodding, praying to their God than the other God. And there's a numbers game, a pure numbers game. They feel that if they can get dominance, they will be the one God. And each one of the core religions are focusing towards their religion being the one true religion. But they all think they're the one true religion.
So
Okay.
with because I grew up Christian,
Yeah, I do too.
and so I'm sure many of us have, and so what I observed, based on what your YouTube video, which I thought, oh, this is interesting, and you can corroborate or share your opinion on this, is that with Christian, there's denominations. So you've obviously got the hierarchy being God, and then all the other denominations, the Catholics, the Greek Orthodox, or and whatever else that follow, the Anglicans, the Episcopalians, etc. Jehovah's
Right.
Witness, keep
There's
going, right?
tons
There's
of
so
them.
many
Yeah.
of them. So
Yeah.
so they are they then form their own little godheads, right? That feed to the other one. Is that right?
Hmm. And they give you the illusion that there's one God. In any one specific religion, there's a pantheon of gods that are up there doing different administrative things. The fascinating thing about a god is what makes them a god is they chose to be a god. That's it. There's this process that they use that I call gilding. And gilding is a thing. It's often used in religious artifacts and stuff, but basically they create this carving or this whatever, and then they coat it in gold. They've gilded it, right? So there's this process that I call gilding that a god goes under, and there are small gods that are in service to gods, and hierarchies and just pantheons of gods that are up there, and they're all vying for more dominance, more control. So when you actually look at even one not as progressed or not been here as long religion, you would think, oh, that's using the same god as the other. They're all different gods, even subset of different religions, even different churches that have a slightly different focus will end up attuning to a different god. Some of them are just even administratively given different gods as a way of organizing the energies so that everybody gets their hands in, or their funding, if you will. It's all this funding game. Egregores can't survive unless they get energy from humanity. The fascinating thing is there are source beings that I call creator beings, you and I. Like, we come here with a source. Our source isn't God. We don't get our energy from God. We get our energy from our existence beyond this realm. So it's like I bring my source with me, the infinite being, not the body. The body's different. That's part of a physical expression. But me, the infinite being, my source is a bigger part of me that exists. I call it infinite being land or the infinite realms. Um, but it's actually way out there. It's beyond this, all that is. It's way beyond this project, actually. And there are other beings here who I call more programs. Like, you can look at them and they just live. They're like an NPC. They just get up, they go to work, they eat, they go to work, they come home, they watch television, they eat, they go to bed, they get up, they go to work, and they're quite happy with a life like that. That's fulfilling for them. Those those don't have a soul in it. Or a soul. I don't like the word soul because it's religious, but they don't have an infinite being in there. There's not a source. It's kind of funded by the planet. I think of it more as it's an avatar waiting to have an infinite being come inside of it through the walk-in process. And so those beings don't have a source other than the energies that are pre-existing here in the planet. Much of what religions are after are the beings who are creator beings. They want the source energy. They need the source energy, and they're not afraid to steal it from you in any way they can manipulate it from you. So I don't know if that kind of opens up
Yeah,
more.
it does, because my next question is then, okay, separate from religion, would things like cliches have created egregores?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go
Memes.
there.
Memes are an
James?
egregore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The one saying, nothing in life is certain except for death and taxes.
Hmm. Hmm.
So is death an
That's an
egregore?
egregore. Yeah. But it's there are zillions of egregores, and if you think of them as a thought form, it's just a thought form. And the more people who share that as the truth, they're supporting their energy. They're giving a little piece of energy. Every time you retell that, you're refeeding that. Again, you're giving a little bit of energy, a upvote, if you will, in modern parlance. And you're promoting that, and people kind of go, oh well, that must be true. It
Yeah.
and But it's true if you want it to be true, but it doesn't have to be true.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
they're looshing your energy. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost like the story of the, I don't know if this is egregore, but let's go with it. The fox versus the rabbit, right? Like, we're creator beings. We're just trying to improve our lives and do what we came here to do. But they're fighting for their life. They're the rabbit. So they're going to mess with you in any way they can. And, and you're going to get up a little bit easier because you're just trying to improve your life and do your thing. Oh, well, I guess I can't do that. You're accepted. And to speak a little bit more on that, our team was working on a kind of a cliche, no good deeds go unpunished. I think I can put that out there now, because that was a big one, because right? Because we were helping each other constantly. We were under attack and helping each other, and then we would get slammed down. So we're like, hey, wait a minute. We need to work on this. I think these are cliches, and we work on it. So we did those, and a few others, and I think it's really improved, at least for us. So I think that's absolutely a thing, and it's absolutely something that doesn't have to be. You don't have to accept that.
Yeah, if I could throw in a thing at the highest level that I found is what unravels the stupid stuff, or any of this stuff, is awareness. It's like the more you perceive of I don't want to of your truth. I'm gonna label it as your truth. There's another lie here about that there's one truth. No, I'm sorry. There's an infinite number of truths. There is not one. There are vying and competing truths. Oh yeah, that's all over the place. But there isn't one truth, and every religion is trying to say this is the one truth, and God has deemed it to be so, therefore it is, right? And so we keep looking for, well, what truth can I align with that makes my life work? And to me, the only truth that, to me, again, it's another illusion. What if it's not about finding the one truth that's out there? What if it's about finding your truth? Period. Your truth. And your perception is different than any other person's perception on the planet. I perceive all manner of things based on the way my history has been, and where I've come before, and what I've done in my my multiple existences across time, space, dimensions, realities. It's like I perceive and engage the world in a unique way. So my truth of of what is true in my world is unique to me. And I would say it's the same for each one of us. We all have a unique truth, and it's not about finding my truth or her truth or his truth or the truth. It's about finding your truth. And when you can find your truth, you're basically tuning into this space of knowingness that I call awareness. That is, to me, truth, awareness, knowing, or my truth, or your person, a personal truth, is the more personal truths you unfold, the more clear your reality becomes, the more unshakable your reality becomes, the more simple your reality becomes, because you've unraveled the illusions out there and you found what is true for you. And the illusion then is, well, if I found this to be true, it's everybody else's truth. Nope, this is just my truth. This may or may not work for you, and that's appropriate. What is your truth? That's what I'm always trying to guide people to. What is your truth?
I have a question. Do you think there is a relationship between egregores and narcissism?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Narcissists are alien, what I call alien energies. Alien energies are jagged, harsh. They're almost electrical. Whereas most God-based energies are smoother, more nasty. But alien energies are this arrogance. Yeah, I call people who are in that energy aliens, because that's how I perceive those energies. It's foreign to this planet. It's not, alien energies aren't from this world, and they're not compatible with the biology here. It's like a out of phase condition that cancels things. Yeah, I would say.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I would think too, because I've known people who seem okay, and then all of a sudden they turn into this extreme narcissist, and you're just like, where did that come from?
Yep. Yeah. It's shocking. It's shocking. Yeah. And that, they're, to me, the more narcissistic a person is, the more taken over they are by those energies.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think too.
And they have no fucking clue.
No clue.
No fucking clue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Jaden, do you think that the awareness is really enough to completely untangle all this? And it sounds like it has to be a personal awareness. Like we can't be like, you put all those great egregores in your vault and got rid of them, but I don't think you got rid of them for other people, did you? I mean, are we able to get rid of them for other people? Because that's what we would love to be able to do, is get rid of the really harmful ones that are really making the biggest damage for others, not just ourselves. Is that even possible?
I would say in Jaden's reality, that's a no. I've had other people who have expressed that to me, and it felt sort of light in their reality, like they can do it to some degree. In my world, that's antithetical to everything about creation. Like it violates free will, it violates things on so many different levels. Even though it was created in that way. Like it's almost like, just because it was created that way doesn't mean I can follow those same rules in reverse, because they aren't necessarily my rules. In my world, that's not possible, because everybody has free will. I have explored with that personally, and what's fascinating is even the egregore energies. I had to look at it. There's the paradox in all of this stuff. As I look at egregores, it's like, okay, they're just this energy of pure evil. They're just here to manipulate and exploit. Like that's what they do. Okay, so we've defined that. But though here's these energies, and what role have they played in my life? They have actually caused me to become stronger by leaps and bounds, clearer, more aware. I don't know that if egregores didn't exist, I would be at this level of awareness today. I don't know that I'd be this strong. I don't know that I'd be this clear. Um, they've pushed me to outcreate them. I had to become more than they are in order to take back my life. And so, can I actually look at those energies and consider them as purely negative? Mm, that's a hard stretch. No. Do I wish them on anybody? No, I wouldn't wish some of the nasty egregores that I've interacted with on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. I've thought about it, but I wouldn't. It's just like, no, it's just too harsh. So at the same time, I'm like, if I could clear the whole planet of them, would I? I probably would. So
Well, and I could see how that would violate some really important laws. Just like, we've become aware as a group of parasites in our bodies and toxins and things that we want to get rid of. As much as I want to, I can't get the parasites out of my kids' bodies or my grandchildren. We can only deal with our own. So maybe that's a good analogy. And be grateful for the awareness that it brought us. So I think you kind of answered. I think we're not going to be able to do that.
The deeper I go, when I find truth, I find paradox. If I don't find paradox, if I find polarity, oh, this is right and this is wrong, right? Because so that's polarity.
Yeah.
The rightness and wrongness of things. That to me is very superficial, and most of the world is trapped in polarity out there, arguing the rightness and wrongness of things. But when you actually start to find truth, personal truth, you notice that, well, there is rightness in the rightness, and there is rightness in the wrongness, and there's wrongness in the wrongness, and there's wrongness in the rightness. There's a whole continuum of energies. It's not black and white. And when you can see the paradox of things, to me, you're getting closer to truth. You're getting close. And the deeper I go in this stuff, the more it is not black and white. And it can't be black and white because it's so multidimensional. It's so infinite. We live in an infinite reality. If you're not experiencing infinite yet, you're under a whole lot of illusions. That's the more I step out of illusion, the more infinite I see things in this reality. You see the finite layers of things, and it's not just black and white. There's a whole gradation from black to white, and infinite. The more you look, the more you see even more spaces in between the spaces. It's infinite.
So do you think that you could, or we could intentionally create a good egregore for good, or would that not be a good idea because it might take on,
So are you creating an egregore to oppose the bad one?
Like to kind of
who believe that they're actually the good ones.
Right.
So you're going to create another good one that opposes the other ones that believe they're a good one. So what was the question about that? I'm just curious.
Well, I was just thinking if you create an egregore, it could just take on a life of its own, and then you don't have control or whatever of it. I was thinking, because you can create it with good intention, right? You can create it with good intention, and then,
Yeah. Oh, you totally can.
Yeah. But it's probably not wise.
What will that give you?
Yeah.
And how many millions of people can you get to go behind it? Right. Yeah. Again, when I look at it, is there a part of me that would love to eliminate all egregores from the planet? Yes, totally. I would love to do that. At the same time, it goes against my core principles.
Right.
So it's a fascinating thing that what I've learned, it's like the more I've learned about this. Like I had a situation where somebody messed with me, took money from me, and part of me wanted to send demons at them, at their energy. I mean, it's really elementary. It's really like the more you explore this whole dimension of how egregores work, you recognize there's all kinds of games you could play on the other side of it too. You could play the dark side of this too.
Yeah, but
But
that's danger. That's
but I
dangerous.
explored with it and I'm like, ooh, this just doesn't, like, it hurts me inside. Like
Mhm.
I've come to recognize that there's an an essence of me, there's core me. And if I'm out of alignment with core me, I'm out of alignment with myself, and I'm not living me. I'm living someone or something else's life. And it's like, could I do that? Yes. But it's not me. So on a broader scale, it's like, who is, what is your core truth? And how can you live in alignment with your core truth? And for some people, that might be being a egregore slayer. I don't know. To me, I just remove the agreements so they can no longer participate in my reality.
That's perfect.
That's the essence of what and that feels in alignment with me. To
Mhm.
destroy them, and I've actually learned how to destroy egregores. I know how to do it now. And every so often I get in a pissed off mood and something just grabs me the wrong way, and I will destroy that entity. But it's out of alignment for me, and I feel it as soon as I've done it. I'm like, ah, shit, it felt so good to destroy that energy, but it's just not right for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. But it's almost like, I think disempowering it is better, right? Because then it has no power.
To eliminate it from my space.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because you're disempowered from your life,
Yeah.
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 And in its reality, I don't know that there's anything different. It's just all of a sudden Jaden vanishes from the planet.
Right.
They're like, okay, who else can I mess with? I'll go over
Right.
there.
I almost wonder though, it's like what you said, Jaden. It's almost like it would be doing a disservice to humanity and humanity's growth in awareness of their higher selves if we were to go and slay all the egregores, even though we want to.
As much
It's
as I
almost
don't
it
like
messes
that,
with spiritual, laws and all that sort of stuff that it messes with.
yeah, as much as I don't like that, I agree with that in some way. I'm like, oh, I don't want to like that. I don't want to agree with that.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like what we need to do is to take away its capacities for us personally, which is what you were saying, correct? Like these are I'm taking away these permissions that you have. I'm not going to let Santa Claus come down my chimney anymore. Just whatever it is, and just
Yeah.
say it out and
that to me
take away the
is,
capacity.
there's this illusion here of no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an illusion because you always have choice. But how? Okay. So just knowing that you have choice is just one step. Okay. I have choice over egregores. Okay. Now, how do I do that? And that took me a decade to figure out. I knew I had choice over these egregores, but it kept digging and digging and digging and digging. It's like, that's how I can have choice over these egregores.
Mm.
So there's the knowing that you should have choice, and then there's the physical expression of that took growth for me. I had to step into having choice, and part of that is also stepping into the attitude and viewpoint of being a creator.
Mm-hmm.
So many people I start, I'll call beginners, I start talking to about egregores, and they're like, well, who am I going to pray to then? Like, who's going to come help me? Like, well, what do I do? And it's like, well, what if you don't need to pray to anybody? What if it's not about what if you're not a victim? What if you're a creator and your job is to step up into being a creator and being empowered and being strong and being clear and knowing your truth? Like, that's a completely different strategy that actually is opposite in many ways of, like, if you've followed even seemingly benevolent channels that could be pseudo religions, or the aliens are here to come save us, there's always this paradigm of something is going to come save us, right? Like, we're hopeless, we're helpless, something's going to come save us. Well, that's disempowering from square one, right? They're like, you don't need to do anything, we've got this under control, just relax and trust the process. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's complete garbage. That's disempowering. It's like, no, 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 I'm here to change this planet. I'm clearly here to change this planet in my way, whatever that way is. Okay, my weirdness. And if I had not stepped into creator and stepped into my choice, I still wouldn't have the ability to clear egregores or even perceive the world at the scale and magnitude that I do. So there's a lot of other elements here that egregores are more like mosquitoes. They're more like flies. They're irritating. Um, at a core, it's about how do I find me and step into more of the truth of who I am, and how do I step into the creator I came here to be.
Exactly.
I like to
Yeah.
go big,
Well,
by the
well,
way.
cool. Cool. I totally resonate with that. That's awesome. And then speaking to what you said earlier, it's like, even if I did clear some egregores, cosmically, everybody else who's already worshiping that is reinstating that already. And it's it's probably back before you've even had a breath. So
Right.
that makes sense. Unfortunately, yeah, as much as we'd like to do that, that's very interesting. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions, or for Jaden?
I have another quick one. I know that in your video you were saying, like, the number one thing that you want people to do is clear the walk-ins and then the egregores. And then there's like, everything is so peaceful. I mean, is that one of the things that you do? Like, if someone went to your website, could they engage you to work with them for these two things? Or is there a class that they take? Or what are the things that you're offering around this?
Yeah, so it varies depending on level of awareness and what's going on in people's life. But I just want to address the background behind the when I assess a person's reality, I'm looking for where are they now, and I have a sense of intuitively where they need to be, where they're seeking to be, not where I want them to be, but where their path is trying to take them. And there are I have to go back to Stephen Covey. There's big rocks and there's small rocks that get in that get in your way, and or he used it the other way, but to me, egregores are a big rock. They're a big boulder. They're a big impediment for most people's path. But actually, there's something worse than that, or harder than that. Most of us have come in, if you think of these bodies as avatar bodies, that there's this illusion that's here that when the soul leaves the body, I'll use religions, when the soul leaves the body has to die. I'm sorry, that may happen with some bodies, but that is not the bodies that we're in currently. And having experienced, I'm up to 10, 11 experiences of death now. Literally died. They brought me back, or after a while, you don't even need somebody to bring you back. You just get it. You're like, okay, we died. Okay, reset. Let's go. Let's get back here again. It's not what it appears to be here. This is so much here that's not what it appears to be. The walk-in thing is your body can contain multiple spirits over time. Like this particular body, I'm actually only 12 years old. Yay! I'm not sucking my thumb anymore. This being has only been in this body for 12 years. This infinite being. I've had variations of me change even since then, but this same spirit or the same infinite being, essence, source, has been in this body for 12 years now. Prior to that, there were other infinite beings that had different agendas, that were exploring different things and had different capacities, most of which were not as big as what I have, but they helped prepare my body for me to come in and handle the energies and the magnitude and scope of things that I play with now. When you open to exploring life as what if the memory of the life that you have, what if those are not all your memories? And what if the reason why certain things seemed weird in the past was because you weren't there? And when you try to go back and fix or correct the stuff from the past, you can't, because you didn't create it. Like anything before 12 years ago, I had nothing to do with, so I can't fix it. When you come in, you create a brand new time stream that is just squeaky clean. And interference doesn't like that. They've spent decades piling crap into the reality and screwing up your life, and they want you to own all that stuff. So right away, the new being comes in and they do stuff to try to get you to attach to the previous ones. And it's like, oh no, I'm really all of those beings. So one of the things that I like to do with people first, the thing that tangles people absolutely the most, is if you have multiple spirits in your body, pretty much if you ever have a feeling of like, I want to die, or I feel done here, or I don't feel human, I feel like I'm alien, or I feel like I'm from another world, like you have other spirits in your body with you, and they each have interference associated with them. So your body was meant to house one spirit, but it can house, I've cleared as many 13 spirits from one body. And I'm sure more is possible, but that's just the most I've ever bumped into. As you clear all those other spirits, if you feel like you can't make decisions, you can't choose, you have difficulty making sense of life, you can't create, then you likely have other spirits in your body with you who are co-creating with you or taking turns with you. And then life is impossibly hard. So the first thing to do is clear all those spirits out, all the walk-in weirdnesses out, get you as being the sole occupant of your body again, get all the other old spirits out, get all their interference out. Then all of a sudden life gets more manageable, easier. That's when we go to egregores. So you clean up both of those, life should just be simple and easy and not difficult. And that's actually where life has gotten for me. Unless I'm having a cold, then it's back to being hard again. But when my body's feeling good, when my body's healthy, I just feel on top of the world normally. Like that's just normal to feel good, to feel clear, to feel strong, to feel powerful. What if that's normal? What if that's how you should feel? And so I do whatever it takes now. I'm a medical intuitive. I do all kinds of stuff. It's like, what does it take for your body? Another glitchy thing that you'll hear me talk about often is amino acids, where um, you see this rampant thing of depression, anxiety that's kind of quickly taking over our planet. And um, the Western medicine gives you these drugs as solutions. If you've ever tried them, they're hideous. maybe not all of them, but enough of them. They're just absolutely hideous things. They're barbaric. They just feel really crude in the physical body. They're not clean. But you can take simple amino acids, very specific ones. And so many people, my triaging of what does it take to get this person high functioning again. I start with amino acids. My second thing is then I'm going to look at getting amino acids to the brain functions ideally. So your energy levels are high, your GABA network, your body relaxes, and your other networks are just emotionally feeling balanced and stable. That's amino acids. Then I'll handle the walk-in stuff. Then we handle the egregore stuff, and you handle really those three things, and you can be on top of the world fairly easily. I don't want to say fairly easily, but you can get there. Let's say it that way. You can get there. It does require effort, but so that's what I'm doing with people. Is my goal is to perceive where are you now, what's in your way, what's the most direct path to get to where you're seeking to be, and it's different for everybody. Though there are a lot of similarities and patterns in it. So I've become this. I call myself a researcher more than anything else. I'm a researcher. I love seeing what makes all of this. How do bodies tick? How does this planet tick? How does this reality tick? I love taking things apart and making them work better. That's my play. So when people go to my website, which is hard to keep updated, but it's really just go watch my videos and see what grabs you, see what gets moving first. My goal is actually that they don't work with me. My goal is that you can watch my free resources, and I put a lot of it out there, so that you can get yourself moving forward. I don't want everybody to need me. No. So yeah.
That's awesome. Resonates with a lot of what we were about to, Jaden. So
say that again.
It resonates a lot with what we're about. So that's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I see so many programs that want to get you inculcated to their agenda, and you become part of the cog in their machine. I don't want you to want me at all. I want you to be independent. I just want you to step into who you came here to be, period. And I'll support you in whatever way is required to become that. Bottom line. Everything else is bullshit.
Yeah, that's also refreshing. Like, forget secret societies and, paid ascension guides and all that. We want to get to a place where this information is easily available, easy to understand, and so that we can relax and enjoy this hologram sometimes.
Yeah,
that's the goal. Yeah. All right. So if nobody has any other questions, we'll just we've got the link on there. And also we'll link to the Egregore video, and that'll show your YouTube channel as well to check out other topics. But I'm 3 years old, by the way. Just
hey, congratulations!
So happy
it's nice
birthday.
to have you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, and I'm fascinated too. I didn't think about that, but I think that there was a creator being in me before that's was pretty different, and if there's remnants of there, it's probably sucking a little bit of your energy, or at least using it faster than you can create it, right? Would you say that's possible?
Oh
yeah. Cool.
And a lot of it is
Cool.
just when you recognize that stuff was not you can just detach from it. When you try to hold on to the old past, it's like you're taking your squeaky clean timeline that feels very quiet and there's not a lot of garbage behind. Like when I go to my past, there's nothing. It's just empty. And that's very disturbing for a lot of people. So they'll take timelines from previous occupants, previous beings, creator beings that were in the body before, and they'll grab their timeline and kind of wrap it around their personal timeline. And so now you're taking their baggage, their garbage, their challenges, their nonsense, and you're merging it into yours, and you've just made your life more complicated. The biggest gift is to know that you are 3 years old, and anything that happened before 3 years, not yours. You don't have anything you have to do with it at all. Those relationships, those people, those bosses, those, not you, not yours, no connection, none. Everything's optional. What do you want to create?
All right. That was great. Great way to end it. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on here today. We really appreciate
You're welcome.
you.
Awesome questions. Thank you.
And maybe we'll have you. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, we'd probably love to have you on again in the future. That was
Cool.
great. Thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
Yeah. And we'll hope everybody enjoyed it. And thank you all for my co-hosts and joining us. And thank you, Jaden, for coming on today. You can visit his website at www.jaden-fox.com or check out his YouTube channel. And we'll see you real soon. And good luck out there, everybody. Stay weird.
Bye.